Hello, and welcome to Telling Tales. You're about to watch a pre-recorded episode of Delta Green, a tabletop role-playing game of Lovecraftian horror and conspiracy. We play a wide variety of games. If you'd like to see more, please join us live on Twitch. We usually stream on Mondays, Wednesdays and Thursdays at 8 PM UK time, or you can check out our YouTube channel for all of our past videos. For information on what we're currently up to, you can join our Discord server, follow our various social media feeds, or our Patreon. You can find the links on our channel pages, below the videos, or at linktree/tellingtales. Hello, welcome to Telling Tales, and welcome to our first episode of Delta Green. These are pre-recorded, a little bit different to usual, mainly to give us a little bit more flexibility, and because this is the first time I've GM'd for the channel, so... if you're watching this, it means the episode has been a roaring success. If you're not, then no one cares. So
we care, Steve. We care.
Oh, thank you. That's nice. So yes. Oh, go on.
I just said I care a lot.
Oh, no.
That was all.
It's nice. Thank you.
Just behind you.
What? You say that now, then I'll get playing and I'll kill you all, and then, you know.
You bastard!
Talking of which, so Delta Green. Delta Green is a tabletop role-playing game of Lovecraftian horror and conspiracy. Lovely, wonderful players I have with me today. John, Justin, Jonny, Inga, and Sam. Hello, thank you for bearing with all of this nonsense. Hopefully things will be fun. Main things to point out, Delta Green is usually set in the United States. That's where most of the lore is. We are playing with an offshoot of that, the UK-based organization. Some of your characters might know as Pisces, some probably don't. But things will all soon become apparent. Do we want to say anything about characters now, or should we just jump straight in? I think we can.
Yeah, jump in. Why not have the descriptions as we go? It's always fun, isn't it?
But if people want to know more, then I think there are character creation episodes available, and for loyal Patreons,
I think it's just patrons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well,
yeah, maybe check it out.
Also, I love Steve. I love Steve that you said at the beginning of this, just now. All will become clear in time, which seems like the most anti-Delta Green sort of statement to start something that I've ever heard.
All will remain murky.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so the thing is, if you have any sudden realizations, if things suddenly become, if you see the truth, you know that you've just got seconds left.
Great.
That's usually the way it works. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's start our story then. For now, again, for reasons which will become apparent, we're going to shuffle off John and Jonny. So see you later. And we start with these wonderful people. So, Sam, who are you playing?
So I am Agent DeWitt, Agent Isabella DeWitt. So to describe her physically, she's kind of an older woman, quite tall and imposing and bulky as well, I think. She's got very practical, kind of just a short cut, black, slightly graying hair, dark eyes. Otherwise, I mean, I guess she kind of stands out because she's quite large, but it seems like she's trying not to stand out otherwise. Just in kind of unassuming, like just a big heavy coat, probably if we're outside. If we're inside, just normal office attire. With a kind of constant frown on her face. And yeah, as can probably be assumed from the name, she is an agent of Pisces. Although we'll get into that a bit more in time, I imagine.
Cool. So my first question to you is this: you have recently, you've got a new supervisor, a new superior, somebody who goes by the name of William Hargreaves, and you have been invited to a meeting in his office. This is in London. You will be within a building. So there's a whole office block between Waterloo Station and the Thames. The branding on it is 7 Aerospace Limited. And you're in there. You're in one of the higher floors in that building. There are security gets tighter as you go up the floors, and there's a certain level where if you don't have the specific clearance, you can't proceed. You are in a floor above that point.
Presumably, I'm familiar with all this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my question to you, for this meeting with your supervisor, your superior, do you turn up early? Are you on time? Do you not care?
My intention will be to be precisely on time.
Okay.
Have I met Mike? Is this the first time meeting, sort of thing, or is this kind of for some other reason we're meeting?
I think it might well be the first time. I think you've had sort of maybe, I don't know, phone conferences or yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, this is probably the first time you're actually going to turn up face to face. Okay, so for the other, Justin, Inga, how about your characters? Early, late, on time?
I think Mags has arrived like 5 minutes early, but in a rush and a panic, thinking she's on track to be late, and then arrives in a huff and in a bit of a tiz, but then realizes that she's actually early and is a little confused by this.
Okay.
I think Conti would be there also about 5 minutes early, but if Mags has not met Conti before, then I think would assume that Conti is part of the security staff of the building because he has that kind of look, and not necessarily someone who is in a meeting or attending a meeting. He won't say anything. He's not talking to Mags if they arrive at the same time.
Okay, so you're waiting outside then. Okay. So let's get things. Okay, so Sam, Isabella walks up. You can see these characters in front of you.
Can we get descriptions a bit more for them?
Yes, go ahead.
Conti is a I have him described as shredded. He's a strong military type who is like unnerving to look at. He hasn't really acquired any skills at putting people at ease. It's not a priority for him, so he's kind of just an imposing military figure who looks like you know uncaring and quite menacing, to be honest. Like he looks like he'd be good doing kind of security or protection of anything because he has that kind of look of doesn't suffer fools and would be isn't going to give you a warning before he kind of picks you up and throws you out of the building or something. And he looks like he could do it and would.
And how about you, Inga?
Not like that. Tall, thin, wiry, lots of layers, hair in a mess, vaguely pulled back, but in a bit of a scrape and a bit, hair flying about. Looks like a slightly batty librarian kind of vibe. Sort of again, sort of middle-aged woman, streaks of grey through dark hair, but strong, fussy librarian vibes.
Lovely. Okay.
I think I would barely glance at all at Lieutenant Conti. I might kind of have a momentary glare at Mags and kind of just note to question myself whether this person should be past security clearance at a later point, but not make a particular problem about it now. And I'll just go knock on the door.
You hear a come in from inside.
I will open the door and step inside.
Okay. So the room that you walk into it's still a room in an office block. But there are some attempts to sort of humanize it a bit. There's sort of, nice wooden desks, some decent furniture around. Sat behind the desk is a gentleman, probably in his late 50s, I'd imagine. Silver grey hair, sort of neat side parting. He's shirt sleeves, tie, and he's sat behind the desk, and he watches you as you enter and offers you a seat.
If it's first time, given its first time meeting, I will walk up and offer my hand to shake and say, "Agent Hargraves."
Of course. Yes, thank you. Welcome.
Congratulations on your new position.
Thank you.
Are we all entering, or is it just do it?
He will if you don't. He will.
Yeah.
If you don't, he'll sort of like look round and beckon. Please come in. Come in.
Then yeah, do so.
I will have sat down now.
And he'll shake both your hands if he'll offer his hand at least.
Sure. Is there enough place? It's a big enough office for.
It's a big enough.
For everyone to sit down and.
Yeah.
Is it like a meeting room or is it?
No, it is an actual office. It's like it's his office. Big desk, papers, files. You see that there are a selection of files, closed files on his desk. Yes. So, well, thank you for coming. Thank you for being prompt. That's good to see. Yes. Well, I'll cut straight to it. We're rather thin on the ground at the moment. The activity that we're seeing has been increasing, and yes, frankly, we need more agents in the field. So my new role is to try to facilitate that, try to get a few more people in the field, and to hopefully recruit some more members. So with that in mind, I have a job for the three of you, and hopefully
Isabella has a hand raised.
Yes.
Yes. Excuse me, sir. I posit that I am not the best choice for recruitment.
For
recruitment of new agents, I feel I may be better suited in other places.
Well, that's as maybe, but well, you do have a lot of experience and formidable skills, and well, frankly, we need you out there doing this. It's you, the experience that you've had over you have been here quite a while, I believe. And he'll flick back through one of the files on the desk.
I'll be like rolling my eyes while he does that.
And frankly, for you to remain behind a desk it's simply a waste in the conditions we have. It's not something that we can tolerate, frankly.
I will nod and just go, understood, sir.
Yes, Conti?
What is there any briefing on the kind of form that we're going to be recruiting these new people in, or do we have anyone in mind?
We do, yes. I'm hoping this should be a nice, simple operation. There are two people that have been working with us remotely. They're unaware of our particular existence, but they have been working for us at least for some time. They have experienced some interesting phenomena, shall we say. So they are, again, suited for this work, we think, but they know nothing of us. So this would be their first introduction to our full suite of activities. and coincidentally, there is a matter that requires some attention, immediate attention from my point of view. So I'm hoping that we can wrap those two together, and you can carry out my piece of work and show these recruits, potential recruits at least, what it means to be an agent. At least, well, you can. I would encourage you to put them through their paces, see whether they are likely candidates for our full work. I hope they will be.
I'm sorry. I'm a little confused. I'm an analyst. I do research and things. I'm not an age. Is this a piece of field research? I could hands-on research, but I can't training operatives.
This. Beg your pardon. Sorry, I missed that last bit.
Should I be here?
Oh, absolutely, Dr. Nidri. You're. I think you will be interested by this job. Your knowledge of research in these matters will be most helpful in this particular operation. Let me at least describe what it is I need doing, and then you might see your potential for this role. We had another long-term asset, again outside the organization. We've worked with him for quite a while, but unfortunately, he has recently passed away because he was working on some sensitive materials, and because he does have some items that, well, we don't really want falling into the wrong hands. We need to act swiftly to get them back. He does have a variety of items, and therefore we need somebody with a keen eye to be able to identify those that we consider to be restricted. His name is Arthur Mason, and he was an antiques and rare books dealer in a little town named Sandworth in the Severn Valley. Unfortunately, yes, he died within his store. We're hoping it was natural causes, but essentially the mission is to confirm that he died through natural causes, and then to sweep his store and recover any of our resources or any elements that might be dangerous to be floating around the wider world.
I'm assuming then the current belief is it was natural causes. Do we have much evidence one way or another?
Well, that is why we're sending you on this mission, and in fact, as why one of the recruits is probably going to be quite useful in this regard. Let me explain about them. There are two recruits. One has medical training, and one is quite a regarded photojournalist. Both again have skills that are useful to this organization. So we have messaged them already. They have been informed that should they wish to work with us further, they should arrive at Sandworth train station at 8 p.m. tonight. So your job is to meet them there, to determine whether just checking names. Yes, to determine whether Arthur Mason's death was natural. I believe his body and any associated reports should still be at the NHS Trust there in the mortuary. And then yes, visit his store and recover any items that that we need.
And if these 2 new potential recruits end up being time wasters, not up to scratch,
then I would value your honest feedback, Lieutenant.
We will be careful what we share with them, given that potential
Good, yes.
prospect.
Yes.
I assume any necessary security passes or papers to get access to the NHS Trust or anything like that can be made up for these as well as ourselves. These we are testing.
Time is a little short. I had rather hoped that these recruits might display the level of ingenuity that we require.
I see. Well, I suppose it is a test.
Any other questions?
What do they know so far? How closely have they worked with us?
They know nothing of this organization. They have been fed the occasional task. So bits of piecemeal work through rotating companies and fronts. Some of it will certainly have been unusual in nature. So far, they have carried out their tasks without question and without leaking information, so that's promising. And again, both of them have had experiences of the unnatural. So from that regard, they have had both have had some experience of that nature.
This will not come as a surprise. I see.
do we expect this the was it Mason who's died
Arthur Mason, yes.
to have any particular documents or files that we're looking to recover, or is it just to find, or is there nothing in particular and it's just trying to find whatever might be there?
That is an excellent question. Thank you, Justin, because I do have it noted down.
Good, I'm glad you weren't I was like, no, don't talk that way to Conti. Conti doesn't get comments like. But yeah,
yes, there are two. There is one item, physical item, that I'm hoping that you can recover, and there are two books, at least two books that we know of. And those are there's a set of 11 handwritten books. You should be able to tell if you see them in a set. These are the Revelations of Gla'aki. The other book that I'm hoping is still there is the Unersprechlichen Kulten by Friedrich von Junst. Again, you should be able to recognize that at a glance if you see it. So those are the two named books that we believe he should have. And yes, there is a device that he was working on for us, that a receiver of sorts that that you should recover. These items, once you have them, we have arranged space at a storage facility out of town, so you should recover the items and any more that you find there, and then drop them off at the storage facility at the end of your mission.
Is it not we're not going to take these back and continue the research? That would be most interesting, I'm sure.
They don't go on public transport now, do they?
And I would, yes, Dr. Nidri, if I would, don't read them. You would most likely regret it. study them. We do study these things, but in very controlled conditions. These are not works of fiction to take lightly.
No, I know, but
Please, trust me. You might have chance to research them later, but yes.
I would strongly like to, if yes, yes.
Justin?
Have we heard any rumours about what Hargreaves is like or his career prior to this assignment as our handler? Like, do we get an idea whether he's competent or?
Yeah,
he seems quite affable. So you know, has he been mostly a desk jobber, or has he seen time in the field?
I'm not sure you've.
Not sure. Okay, cool.
I'm not sure you've seen him on these lower levels.
I feel like Isabella might have tried to do this research if he got the chance. To be fair, doesn't matter if there's nothing.
I guess I guess what I'm getting at is just even if he doesn't know specific rumors, does Conti get the feeling that he's being assigned a mission by a civilian or by someone who understands what it's like to work in the field? And so would that, that might change how he would what he would think of as whether that person has informed them of all the things that if you're a field agent you would know to inform about, like, or whether this person is just that. It just would affect how they would. It doesn't matter, but like it's just a bit of flavor stuff.
I think.
Happy to roll for something if you like.
Ooh. Well, let's have a look at your.
Yeah, and let's look at the 1,000 skills that you can roll when you're trying to work things out.
Wow.
It's not. There's quite a lot of. I don't know. Human intelligence, is that a skill?
I was going to say it is. I was looking at human, but you only have, it seems,
10%.
Wow,
that's a 1 in 10 chance. I like those odds.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose.
Yeah, I was going to say I would roll it too because I'm judging him for the first time.
Sure.
I'll just see if I can maybe. I'm just going to think about whether there's anything that makes more sense to roll, but I think that. No, I don't think there is. I was wondering if there's like a military skill. No, I don't. I rolled. Go on, Sam.
It's just doubles that are crit. It's not a fifth and under, is it?
That's a great question.
For now, while
we said doubles at the beginning, so I'm assuming that's the case.
I will let you know that I failed with a roll of 90.
Okay, you probably think he's just a yeah,
just some random,
just some middle manager.
Yeah, he's got assigned.
Yeah,
probably doesn't even know what he's talking about.
Probably not. How about you, Sam?
A critical success, a roll of 0, 1, or any success where the dice match.
Yeah, so it's not a crit. It's just a success.
Okay.
A roll of 1, so it's doubles and a 1.
Yeah,
a pure 1.
What pure 1 is crit, pure 100 is fumble, and then doubles.
Yeah, cool. Just a regular.
I should probably mention this. Yes,
it's all good.
And we're rolling D100s.
Yes. Yes. I'll stick something on the screen, maybe.
Oh, it's fine.
Nah.
It's fine. Nah, people pick it up as they go. It's not
Hope
bad.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
So you got a success, a straight success, Sam. Okay. There is an edge to Hargreaves. So yes, he's being genteel and polite and so on. But yes, there is. You detect an edge there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would expect it, given where he is in his position. I probably have a good idea of how you get to that sort of place within Pisces. So yeah.
Okay. Well, yes, I think that about covers it. Do you have any more questions?
No, I think that works.
I'm just reading through my stuff to see if I've
You've described the items that we know we're looking for, but you said there might be some other items or books that might be of interest. Do we have any? What was it that Mason was researching? Do we have an idea of what kind of thing we might be looking for, or should I just general look and see, or do we have some sort of idea of what kind of thing he might have been investigating?
Well, that's really why you're part of the team, Dr. Nidri. He was a rare book dealer, so I wouldn't be that surprised if other tomes of interest to our organisation are floating around. Again, he was a long-term asset. He was very reliable. So if there are any others there, I expect that he will have stored them securely. But I trust your instinct to be able to look around and then see if anything catches your eye.
Sorry, you might have said before, but you said he's been a long-term asset. Was he an agent? Did he know about Pisces as well, or was it all a bit for arm's length?
It was at arm's length. He did know. I have worked with him on a number of occasions, but yes, he does. He doesn't know of our organisation in its entirety, if that helps. Anything else?
We're taking public transport. We're not requisitioning any vehicles.
That is entirely up to you. I would caution that, well, if there are any sizable items to recover, then perhaps having your own mode of transport would be helpful.
Can we maybe get a car?
Yes.
Is that within
Rent a
budget?
vehicle seems sensible.
Of course. Usual channels.
Mm-hmm. Well, I might go and get repairing then if no one else has any questions. Standing up to leave.
How about the...
I think I'm good. I'm just looking through whether there's any equipment that I would think to requisition now.
I'm assuming at the point that there's basic stuff like, vehicles and basic equipment we can just requisition ourselves.
Oh, yes. Yeah. You certainly have enough autonomy within Pisces to be able to do that.
That's cool. All right. That's good. I think, I'm happy to move on from this scene. Not
Okay.
Conti's saying.
Is there like where are we now? And for getting to Sandworth, like, is there an amount? We're meeting the guys at our character. We're meeting the guys at 8:00 in Sandworth. How far away from Sandworth are we? And like, do we have time to go home and feed the cat? Kind of. It sounds like we're going to be away overnight. Maybe.
Sure.
Like where we're at now.
There is role playing going on here.
Can I feed my cat? Is there time?
Max is thinking about this. Does she have time?
That's fair. That's fair.
The car soon.
Well, let's put it this way: that the time of the meeting is flexible. If there isn't enough time between, like, this is a morning meeting, sort of 8 or 9.
If we leave the new agents there at the station for an hour or two in the cold, it'll only do them good.
Yeah.
It's initiative, right? So I again the whole let's break the fourth wall. The whole research on writing these things, I find it very hard not to go down a rabbit hole of, how far is this place away from that place? Where does Sandworth exist on an actual map?
It doesn't matter. No one.
Let's not do that. What I'm going to do is what I want is basically a set of like crime scene style kit, which is things like gloves and other stuff, just so we're not leaving fingerprints around.
Lovely, yeah.
We can do breaking and entering, torches, flashlights, spare batteries,
all fine,
pairs of gloves, all that kind of stuff. The stuff that I would normally use when I'm breaking into somewhere and don't want to be remembered to have.
Probably best not to be carrying that around on a bus. Actually,
I think we'll rent a car and drive up. I think if I talk to as me and DeWitt are leaving, I'd say I will sort the car and meet me at this address, and then I would give write that down for DeWitt and give the same thing to Mags and say, and there's no like it will leave you enough time to feed the cat, but there's not a negotiation on that time. The Conti's not offering you when that's going to happen.
No, that's
when
what
I'm
I was
leaving.
going to say. Mags was going to, if that was already happening, Mags was going to say, I trust you guys are going to sort this because this is not her field. So
Sure.
awesome.
That all gets organised, and you have time to organise anything you need to.
I'll nod and just say, I'll see what papers I can scrounge up. Always a good idea as a backup, nonetheless.
Sure.
And then, kind of as we're walking away from the place, I'll just be kind of shaking my head and going, "This place has really gone downhill."
Yeah.
Well, as you're leaving, Hargreaves will call out actually to Lieutenant Conti. Can I just have a word, please?
Yeah. Yeah, cool. That's good. Right, I'll pop back in and sit down again.
And he will, of course, gesture for you to close the door if you haven't already.
Yeah, that's done.
Yes, one clarification. I'm sure I don't need to tell you this. If either of the new recruits does look like they're going to be a liability, if they do, well...
Yeah, I understand.
Yes, I trust you to do what you do best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And shake his hand again and get out and go. Probably the conversation lasts long enough to catch Mags at the elevator.
Can I roll a human for whether I picked up on what that conversation was probably about? Would that be acceptable? Steve?
I mean, roll rumors for content.
Yes,
I succeeded at that, so I'll give you a nod and like a subtle smile probably as you leave, but I won't say anything else.
Well, if we are living together, then I think there might be some general acknowledgement of, do it. I think I heard a couple of things you've been doing here. You've been here for a while, haven't you?
Surprised I haven't met you before, Conti. I think I've heard your name as well. You're someone who gets things done.
Prefer to be neither seen nor heard, to be honest.
Likewise. Glad to meet you. I will extend my hand to shake yours.
I'll take it. Although I imagine my understanding of Do It is that they are a train wreck of a person.
Right? Yep.
Cool.
Let's cut over. We'll do the rumors as you arrive in Sandwell.
Get those guys back on.
Yes, I'm sorry it's taken ages.
No,
so, okay, let's cut across to the train station shortly before 8 p.m. and we have these two people to meet. Tell you what, let's do it properly and let's shuffle off. There we go. Oh, and that view is horrid. And I'll put myself down there. There we go. So, hello.
Hi. Hello.
Let's talk about your characters and what you've experienced. So, both of you have been doing weird jobs for this nameless organization. And we can get onto backstories, maybe. We'll see. I'm not sure whether they'll come up or not. But go on. Introduce your characters, what you look like, what you do, maybe a little bit of flavor of why you might have come to Pisces' attention.
Do you want to go first, John?
Sure. So Louis is a forensic pathologist who mostly carries out autopsies and, does various medical things about figuring out causes of death. As far as they are aware, they have occasionally been asked to examine bodies that sort of don't make sense, and whoever she is submitting her report to doesn't turn around and tell her that her conclusions are weird. So she's fairly happy with that. She's mid-30s, hair just long enough to tie back in a neat ponytail, No longer, because that's superfluous. No shorter, because that's more messy. And dresses smart but very comfortably. Usually quite not oversized because they get in the way of her work, but a comfortable jumpers, smart shoes, that kind of thing. So any more information needed there?
I think that's okay for now. Let's Jonny, how about your character?
So Mark is 5'11", pretty slim, bit of stubble, slightly messy, slightly curly hair, not long, but sort of not cut short, so it's a little messy. He does look mildly disheveled, which is mostly because he's constantly traveling. He is a photographer who does a lot of work for National Geographic, and his whole sort of ethos is about finding and portraying the truth through his images, which may or may not go against the conventions of Delta Green. But that's kind of his MO.
Your motivation, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want any of the backstory stuff for him? Oh, he's in his early 40s as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want any of the plot stuff?
I think. I don't think we need that just yet.
Okay.
But what is important is that both of you have experienced some sort of weird event. Strange people turned up, influenced your life somehow, and then started giving you interesting little tasks to complete. They might have been meaningful, they might have been meaningless. Some seem trivial to you, some seem just weird, but you've carried them out diligently. You have been rewarded for it. And a few weeks ago, you received appropriately obfuscated communications that sort of expressed thanks for the work that you've done, and that they saw an opportunity for a closer collaboration, for you to use your skills to further the to benefit society, I think is probably how they phrased it. And if you are amenable, to be ready to travel within the UK at short notice without raising suspicion. And then a little while after that, you both received again an obfuscated communication that directed you to meet at Sandworth train station at 8 p.m. on a night in I think it was late October. So yes, cold, occasionally foggy, gets dark pretty early.
Is 8 p.m. the time of a train, or is that just a time to meet?
That's the time to meet.
In that case, Mark is probably 3 to 4 minutes late.
Okay.
And sort of comes charging in.
Sure. How about you, John?
Louis will be, I think, exactly on time.
Okay.
And will probably be carrying maybe quite a large backpack. Most of it is useful, but partly her cover story for getting out of town was that she was going on a short notice camping trip.
Okay.
As she often does. So she looks like she's carrying her camping gear.
Sure. Have you arrived by train? Have you driven there? Have you found some other way of?
By train.
Okay.
I imagine I may have been in London anyway, so I may have tubed and then
Okay.
run from wherever the nearest place was for me to get here.
Yes. So this location, I should. This is Sandworth. So this is actually in the Severn Valley. So it is a fair way west. Yes, that's right. It's the train connections probably aren't hugely frequent at this particular station. It's probably only got like 4 platforms or so it's a fairly small town. But so you're stood on the station platform. Well, one of you is at 8 p.m. And so I guess we can bring the others back in. Let's do that.
I would have suggested on the journey over that we get there about 20 minutes late. I would also suggest to Conti that he takes the lead, given his appearance, basically.
I'll have said nothing at this suggestion as I drive.
Okay, because you're driving over. Okay, so right.
I think I'll have literally reserved a car under probably even just my name.
Okay.
Or I don't know whether I have any good aliases, document stuff, or whether that's normal.
That is entirely up to you. Yes, it's probably something I should have mentioned. Inventing aliases is entirely approved of.
Mm-hmm. If I have one that I've used before for things that is relatively clean, then I will use that instead.
Sure.
But yeah.
I'll think of a name then.
Then I will do that. But it's under that name that I'm going to think of.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. This is the fun part of Delta Green, where I can catch you out in all sorts of. If you go off and give your real name to somebody, it will come back and bite you, maybe. So we have 2 characters on a train station. Eventually, Dr. Good is there first with a rucksack. Are you wandering up and down the station platform? There's sort of like a little. It's not a big station, so there's a small sort of waiting room. There's a lobby with an automated ticket machine. It's pretty dark.
I think I will probably just find myself somewhere to park, somewhere to lean against the wall, and
Sure.
stay.
Well, a few minutes after, should we have a? We don't need to have a roll. Mark Bradshaw. So you see Mark's character arrive. What is Mark doing?
Running through the entrance to the station because he's late. He's got a reasonable size rucksack because he's got clothes, etc., as well as camera gear. I think he's probably also got a handheld sort of luggage thing as well.
Nice.
And yeah, he tears in. I presume, since you've said it's not a particularly busy station.
No. There'll be, you might see some, late teenagers sort of lurking either outside the station or in a corner somewhere. It's not a busy station. It's pretty isolated.
Cool. I sort of still stop running, but still walking at pace, and probably head towards the waiting room. Did you say it's probably a bit sort of cold and foggy?
Yeah, it's sort of late. Late October. So
probably head towards the waiting room with some speed, sort of looking around to see if, because I presume I don't necessarily know that somebody else is going to be here.
You have no idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just head for the waiting room and take a seat in there.
Lovely. So for 20 minutes or so, we have Dr. Good. So Mark Bradshaw is in the waiting room. Dr. Good, are you wandering around? I forget where you said you were.
I said I'm leaning against a wall,
Right.
possibly with a view of the entrance.
Do you say anything? Do you just notice each other?
I think as far as I've seen a man run into a train station looking like he's late for something,
Yeah.
and then sit down. So that's not particularly unusual to me. So I wouldn't say anything.
I'll also probably keep checking my watch as well. So if Dr. Good does happen to look round, it still looks like I'm,
You're just looking massive. Yes. Either massively suspicious or you're waiting for a train. Yeah. Now I'm looking for the skill.
Are you a secret agent too?
Excuse me,
exactly.
are you here to talk to the government?
Oh, high five.
Says Dr. Good to the group of teenagers. With
Yeah.
Perfect.
There's like an 85-year-old lady with a little like trolley thing.
Could be anybody.
Yeah,
Could be anybody.
Could be, exactly. Don't assume.
Like, what you needed to give everyone is a code, is a password to
Yeah.
introduce themselves. You should need to say that the owl hoots twice at midnight.
I should have been carrying a copy of the Times with the sports section facing outwards.
Nice.
No.
Nice.
And you'll uncross your legs at 3 minutes past the hour.
Yeah.
Can we retcon that there may be some actual, because otherwise it would make sense if we were meeting agents, wouldn't it, to have some kind of identity?
Presumably either go on the platform is empty or we have.
I can certainly retcon that Hargreaves showed you files with photographs of.
Okay, that's useful.
Yeah, that's fine.
Max
easier.
assumed
Lesson
you
number
would
one.
have done something like that. Though she
The files were on the desk.
cared about this.
There's
I
another
just
one for
forgot
new
to
recruits. Don't believe anyone when they say they work for Pisces.
Yeah. We're just gonna go around like, was it you who got a thing? It's tears.
Just grab two people off the street, you know. Okay. Well, I will ask for an alertness roll from John and Jonny, just as they wait.
That's no.
I got 52 and my stat for alertness is 60.
Okay.
So that's a pass.
I got 98, so it doesn't matter
Oof.
what my stat is.
Amazing.
Now is maybe a good time to point out the checkbox thing here, where you like
Good
if you
point.
fail a test, you check a box and then you have a chance to. Well, you have a bit of a level up from that fail.
Yes. I think Delta
1d4
Green
minus
is Delta Green is rather more generous in terms of, or at least its frequency with skill bonuses.
I mean, particularly with the low percentage ones, you're going to be taking them most of the time when you've like tried them, aren't you? So.
And our sessions are fairly short as well. So,
Yeah.
But again, you know, death lies around every corner, so I can always whittle you down if necessary. You think I'm kidding? So Mark might notice some way distant, again in the darkness, there is someone kind of leaning against a wall with a motorbike parked nearby in biking leathers and a helmet. And let's then, a few minutes afterwards, 20 minutes afterwards, how do the rest of you arrive? And have you talked to each other in the car and figured out what you know about each other? Let's sort out those rumors, shall we?
Cool.
Cool.
Well, one thing we were just chatting about in the chat, which we can say now, are we assuming false identities for this? It sounded like you wanted to, Justin.
I didn't even realize it was you asked me that. I thought it was Steve trying to catch me out. So I was like,
it's me trying to catch you out.
I'm good. This car is rented in the name of Robert Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
which is a name that I got off. I looked to my right, looked at the books I've got on my bookshelf, and chose a name.
Are
Great.
you planning
Love
on
it.
introducing yourself with that name?
I will
Two
introduce
Vs.
myself as Thomas, which
Mhm.
they won't know as a surname. So
Nice.
they will add confusion.
Keep them
Okay.
guessing. That's what I
For
like.
for the moment, I am Mary Smart then.
Okay. I've made work for myself because now I have to write these down.
I know. I'm writing down as well.
What are we going
Max
to do with
has
the
no
name
alias. And if you've mentioned this in the car that you guys have other names, it's probably gone in one ear and out the other.
I already have my like documentation for Mary
Yeah.
Smart prepared.
So how many what dice do I need to roll to get rumors about you, Sam?
Oh yeah, we're doing that. That'll be fun.
I think that was a D6, wasn't it?
Have you
Just
got,
saying.
you got
Rolling
6
a D6
rumors?
for a rumor. I'll roll
I
one.
am rolling. I got a 6. That's the
Oh, you
best
rolled a
rumor, right?
6. I just
That's
random
the
ordered
best
mine.
I also got a 6.
Well,
Ooh,
we've
okay.
both
So
heard
this
one
adds-
really
both
common
have-
story.
I think this lends weight to whatever the rumor is because we've both heard it.
Okay. Number 6 is I hear she lives down in the archive back in the main office. Never leaves, barely ever sleeps.
You probably think this is something to be commended, Max.
Yeah, you probably would.
I don't even think that's a rumor. That's just like
That's just black clock dice. Like,
Okay, I'll roll one for Justin.
Yeah.
For Conti.
okay,
I got 6 as well.
that's
my
a good
God.
one.
This is also a D6 for you, Justin.
Yeah,
I got
6
a
is
5.
6 is the most salacious, which is Conti was involved in department business that got a lot of innocent people killed. It was quite messy. Some say it was the best of a few bad options, but maybe he just doesn't care.
And you got 5, was it, Inga?
5 is Conti is said to have stopped at some kind of incursion by eliminating someone who came into contact with something. The whole thing was quite challenging to cover up, but it got the job done.
Lovely.
I just have D3s if anyone thinks they might have. You
why
would probably
not?
see my name
It's
on
always
report
fun.
or something.
I got a 3.
Got a 2.
So what did I put here? So the 2 was the rumor is that her cat Archimedes is imaginary, not real.
That was 2.
Yeah, that was 2.
Cool.
And 3 is she's the one that microwaved that fish in the office kitchen.
I love these rumors. I love them. They're so good. They're so good.
I genuinely believe DeWitt will have a grudge against you for that as well.
I have so many questions about the last one because it could be, do you mean like a tuna salad for lunch, or do we mean you just put a fish in there?
or is it like
I mean,
some kind of shape
how
of
else do you make
water
a tuna
style
salad?
incursion event? She microwaved the fish.
I'm trying to think how I could possibly express my rage from this, but there's definitely unsaid.
I also
Vengeance will come.
I also love the water cooler situation where somebody told or Conti overheard or was told about someone's cat, and he's just there like,
Why did you even remember this? Why is there space in his mind for this information?
I would say that maybe you may have this maybe has come to mind for you because you note that as she meets you to join the car, she seems to have quite a lot of cat fur all over her.
This means the rumor thickens. Anyway, so we're arriving at this. So yeah, so it's established that I have a secret identity or just an identity that's just we can call Thomas, and the car is in that name, which I tell you. And I've also got a bag full of stuff, like a big kind of like a black zipped bag that you see me put in. That it's not heavy, but it looks to be kind of like it's got a lot of stuff in it, basically. Yeah. And I'm wearing like a dark, maybe like a black jacket and dark jeans and boots that you think probably are steel toe boots.
Yeah. I mean, somewhat similar, although slightly smarter. A suit, but outdoor practical.
How about Mags? Same as before?
Yeah, I mean, maybe like just grabbed a scarf or something, like.
Cool. This is going to be great.
Hand glove. Like, it's cold. Like I say, a bit more fur.
Like, all the time I'm traveling and doing things with you, I'm just giving you glances of just like, why are you here? Just constantly.
Cool. So we're arriving at the station, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no problems in the way.
Do you know, one last thing I will add. like especially if you've got it in mind, Sam, like you might be convinced you've got the slightest whiff of tuna as she comes in because she has just fed her cat.
Okay.
She
I
doesn't
don't think.
feel like
I
that
don't
doesn't
think.
exist.
I don't think DeWitt has said a single thing to you this whole journey. She's basically not acknowledged your existence.
Mags is just staring out of the window, just off in her own little world. Anyway, it's fine.
This is great. So, yes, how do you make your presence known at the station then?
Well, we're pulling up late, and there are a few figures. Is it just those two, or is there still?
Yeah, I was going to
kids
ask:
around?
are there loads of other people here or not? Is the question.
It's pretty quiet. So there's a small car park outside. There are some people kind of wandering by, but it's.
Can I make an alertness roll to try and spot anything weird?
Sure. Yeah.
Which is what I would do if I was looking around. Which I somehow fail, despite like having 70 in alertness.
I can't see why I wouldn't roll alertness, but I always feel bad doing that sort of thing. Sorry.
Jonny, go on.
Mark has progressed to his handheld luggage bag that he had, taken a camera out, and started doing sort of street photography from my. So if anybody sort of wanders past,
sure.
He's trying to get some interesting shots of people.
Anybody unusual turning up? Anybody?
That kind of thing, yeah. Yeah.
Wait, is your camera out when we turn up?
It will be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're not like pointing a camera at us as we walk in.
Do you look interesting?
No.
We probably do, given the three of us, especially with Nidri.
I actually might say, like, if we're gonna be driving on to like the mortuary or something later on, Mags might have just stayed in the car. Like this going and picking up,
Sure, yeah.
contacts. This is agent work.
In that case, maybe we look less interesting. Although we are both quite large and imposing people, so
I will say that Mark isn't stupid and is probably aware of what agents walking towards him will look like versus, potentially.
I mean, they have a certain aura, I imagine. Or at least Conti will do.
Yeah, Conti. Yeah, just this thug turns up.
I will do a visible sigh of relief, not trying to hide it when Nidri decides to stay in the car. And as we walk away a bit, I'll turn to you, Conti, and go, she won't be an asset on this trip, I feel.
I'm not going to say anything to it.
So mean.
Yeah, if we do we clock? So we recognise who they are from the pictures.
Oh yes, you can. Yeah.
And you're not sitting together, are you? And is Bradshaw alone in the waiting room, or is he with people?
Up to you.
Okay, if he's alone.
Up to Jonny.
To Jonny.
He started off in the waiting room, but if he's.
Oh, I'm still in the waiting room.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and there's no. Is there? What I'm asking is that a safe place to talk, or is that a more safe place to talk than say the out in the open? Is there anyone sitting in the waiting room? Aside from bugs and other kind of surveillance and things, if there's like a bunch of school children,
there is no one else. There's a whole school trip. Yes,
I'll just nod on and go, I'll get that one, and then walk off towards Louis.
Cool. In that case, I'll walk over to Mark and kind of sit down opposite him, and I'll say, "That's I just start a conversation like, that's an interesting camera you've got there. Like, do you like photography? Like that kind of thing. I start asking him a few questions, see what his initial response to that is."
I think as Conti sits, I'm probably going to start dismantling the camera, removing the lens and putting the lens cap on and all that kind of stuff. Yes.
Is it digital or is it an old analog camera?
No, digital. Speed of results and whatnot.
All right. Are you just visiting the town?
Meeting someone here, I believe.
That's nice. I think if it seems like after a bit of conversation that Bradshaw isn't an idiot who is going to immediately say I'm really excited about this super clandestine work. He seems like he's a relatively straightforward person who's not completely stupid. Then I will say, yeah, well, I'll get around to saying, so you're Mark Bradshaw, right?
Yeah.
We're who you're meeting. I kind of point out to DeWitt, or like I'm not out to DeWitt, and that's is it Dr. Good? Is that how you pronounce your character, John, or is it like Goody?
Good.
That's there's Dr. Good out there too. They'll be joining us on this. Hopefully, it'll be pretty straightforward.
I should probably delete my pictures of the good doctor then, I suppose.
I don't think so, as long as you never know what might end up being an asset, but at the end of the day, but I think we'll have to make a judgment call at that at the end of the process. Anyway, kind of step up and open the door for him with the waiting room, and then yeah.
I suppose on the other end of things, then I wandered up to Dr. Good, and with no pretense whatsoever, just went, Dr. Good,
Can I help you?
we're the people you're here to meet. This way, please.
Excellent. You're late.
As we intended. Hope you don't mind.
Does it matter?
I don't answer
Pick
and
up my
start walking on.
Amazing.
Power play.
As we intended.
And yeah, I'll go and join. If it looks like you're heading back to the car, Conti, I'll just come and yeah.
I
Follow
think
with
we'll unite up and meet back at the car.
Mm-hmm.
Before we kind of get in, I'll ask them, have you seen anything odd while you've been here?
No.
No.
Okay. And then you both got the train in, right? So none of you have any vehicles yourselves. You're just.
No.
Well, if you've got anything to put in the boot, then do it, and then otherwise, get in.
I'll before we get in as well, I'll just say, I'm Agent Smart. This is Agent Conti. In the car is.
I'm just gonna like look at
Sorry,
it.
I genuinely meant to say Thomas then, but I failed.
No,
I'll
I
just
just like-
say
You
that
get,
that's
you
my
get
character
one
fucking
free
up.
retcon.
No, I like the idea that's my character fucking up.
I'm just like, I just.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair. She's a train
That was
wreck of a
great.
person.
That was great. That was. I'm perfectly fine with
The
it.
funniest
That's
thing
so
was I was
funny.
staring at the name Thomas that I've written down on my sheet with the intention of saying it and still just screwed up. There's probably a reason she's never been promoted in this organization.
Beautiful.
Exactly
And then I'll
what I
sigh.
expect.
I'll sigh and won't introduce the person in the car.
I'd see the doors opening on either side and just look like over daylight headlights and just squeeze myself into the middle seat. I assume I'm in the back somewhere.
Yes. Anyway, cool.
I'll put my
Yeah.
main bag in the boot, but probably keep my handheld camera with me. Bagged, but with me in case anything crops up.
I'm happy to stick my rucksack in the back. In the boot and climb into the back.
Do either of you have anything in those bags that we're gonna have to explain if we get stopped?
No.
No.
Okay. Were we told to go into the house first, or the mortuary
I think
first?
was it mortuary?
You
first?
weren't.
We weren't
You
told
weren't
to go
told.
on.
We weren't told to either one.
Mhm.
Are either of you two? How do we get any information about these people, about what they're kind of like?
We knew Dr.
About
Good
them.
was a doctor.
Okay.
As in,
Doctor.
did we know you were forensics? I feel like that was discussed, wasn't it?
I think you said doctor and just photographer. Is that what we were told?
Okay.
Just
I think he said that I had medical or was a medical professional and
Okay.
that Bradshaw was a photographer. But you did have files on the desk in front of you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. So in terms of if you look through those, which of course you did to know their appearances, I'm fine essentially with you knowing what you can do a translation from player to character in terms of you can I don't even know whether you know what their character sheets are,
Hmm.
but you have the information from their character sheets essentially. So,
Yeah.
I think I would just ask then. I would say, Doctor, if someone had died, how long would you expect them to remain in the morgue?
That depends on how long they need to be investigated. And following that, how long it would take for a next of kin to accept the body.
Unfortunately, I don't think we have all those details. I suspect we should go there first.
Okay. Then I start the car and head off, trying to keep an eye out for anyone who might be following, but otherwise obeying all of the laws of the road.
As we're driving a little bit as well, I'll just say this will be a test of sorts. There will be things that we will ask for your leadership or at least advice on to see how you do at them.
Understandable. May I have some amount of context for the body I'm presumably about to examine?
We, someone who's had a similar role to you, both of you, in terms of your involvement with the work that we're going to be doing, has died, and we're trying to make sure that there wasn't anything nefarious going on with that. So we want to look for what the current recorded cause of death is, and make sure that that paperwork all is what we want it to be, and then see if with a different pair of eyes we come to the same conclusion. If we don't, then we might need to change a few things and make sure things all straighten out. And then we need to go and find out when we need to go to their place and make sure it's all clean and tidy. You can trust that it'd be the same thing we'd be doing if it was one of you guys that got hit. If they got hit.
Comforting.
That doesn't usually happen. I'll give a look to you.
Just
for what
as
it's worth,
comforting.
Mags does not look like an agent in the slightest. If you would probably presume she's also just been picked up from somewhere, like you guys have been.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I've assumed.
I imagine her looking more worried than both of these two.
If I was playing Conti with a sense of humor, I'd be introducing you as my like cat sitter that's along for the journey. But Conti has no sense of humor. So yeah, I'm gonna make my way to the, like, it was an NHS, what kind of mortuary, like a morgue, I guess. Or mortuary,
yeah. So the mortuary is within Sandworth NHS Trust.
Then I'll go to park, not in the, like, find a street nearby that isn't kind of, it's a residential area and away from security cameras and things like that. And
on the way
You
there,
don't have to pay the parking fees.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
On the way there, and as we pull up, I guess I'd just say, so either of you have any proposals? What an easy way to access the morgue might be? Without drawing suspicion, of course.
So this hasn't been prearranged.
Prearrangement? What would that look like then?
Well, I imagine it would involve someone with bureaucratic authority informing the hospital that they are sending a forensic pathologist consultant to examine one of their bodies.
And in an emergency or short notice situation, that bureaucratic confirmation can come through quickly, within minutes.
I presume
or sometimes these kinds of things can get lost. Messages don't get through. People's emails get bounced back. So
someone finds a letter at the bottom of their in tray.
Yeah, these things can happen, can't they?
Suddenly.
If we are presuming we cannot get any sort of authorization now, perhaps that is a good choice. Steve, this is a good time to ask a question. I know it says we can sometimes have, like, phones and things are generally not considered secure, but we can have them. Is that something that we would likely be allowed to have at this point, or do you think we wouldn't have phones? I mean, maybe these folks do, but
I think it's entirely so. You can have as many burner phones as you like. You also have, so the agents have a secure mode of communication, but you can have you can have burner phones as well. That's fine. In terms of John and Jonny, Dr. Good and Mark Bradshaw, I presume you have phones with you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've got a phone. I probably turned it off and put it in my bag.
How about you, Jonny?
Yeah, I think mine's probably just in my pocket.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Carry on. So you've parked in a nearby side street. You've avoided the automated parking systems that take photographs of your license plates, so that's good. What are you doing?
Sorry, got a momentary distraction. I was going to say about the phone thing. Are we? So I'll probably reply to Dr. Good then. So if we were hypothetically to contact the department, a bureaucratic, as you say, reason for our arrival could probably be arranged, but it may take some time. So perhaps a more efficient way would be to try and persuade someone that got lost, as you say. Would you be comfortable doing that?
I have been told that my people skills are not my strong point, but I would be happy to try. Right, let me get my ID out of the boot.
Perhaps it is best not to use your personal identification for this.
What about you, Mark? Do you feel like you're a good talker? Do you feel like you can be convincing when you need to be?
I think I can, but I tend to try and observe without interfering as much as possible. But yeah, I think in a pinch, I can probably talk somebody around.
Then I think we should we'll start walking over, and I think we're all going in, or all going to to see if we can. Right, or what do we think?
Mag has got up to follow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Let's all go in.
Yeah. I think
And
my plan, I'll tell everyone that my plan will be to kind of hang back, but to give me a call if anything goes wrong. And I'll just try and kind of keep a lookout outside.
I'll follow you in, but not, be trying to lead the way or anything.
So you're going in through the main entrance.
I was about to say there is either the main reception, or there will usually be, think of it as a trade entrance.
I think Mark's plan is to, if Dr. Good is taking the lead using being an actual doctor as a persuasion technique, Mark's plan is to stand back a little and allow the conversation to happen, but be observing. And if he sees any point where an interjection from him may be helpful, then he will interject to aid with the persuasion. But he's like, this person actually does do this job. So the most convincing person to be allowed in to do the job is the person who does the job, who just doesn't have permission to do it this particular time. Like, that is still the best bet.
Okay.
I think let's go in through the front entrance. It goes with our story
Yeah, I'm probably going to come in as a separate, like not with you, so that there's so I'm kind of going to go up on my own and maybe head to the reception and start making inquiries about a patient, like my nan. I can't remember what room she's in. Where would I go? Where would I go?
okay,
Where would
yeah.
I go? I know she's got some kind of heart condition. Where's that, or follow like something like that, following signs that end up basically sitting on one of those random patient benches in a corridor.
Yeah.
In a place where I can see a lot of like the foyers and reception and things.
Sure.
DeWitt likes your idea and decides to do something similar but much lazier and just walks in quietly and sits down on one of the benches in the waiting area.
Okay.
And you have we give you our numbers for burner phones, so you can contact us or text us if you need to. But advise, say obviously to be smart in how you're doing that.
In that case, I will walk in. See, I know for most hospitals that receptionists usually don't really mind if you just sort of keep walking if it looks like you know where you're going.
Yeah, it's a hospital, so yeah, that's entirely the case.
Do you have like hospital gowns? You might. I don't know if you probably wouldn't have them with you, would you? Because you wouldn't.
I would not have them with me.
Yeah, shame.
But if I was going in as a consultant or as a patient, depending on whatever the receptionist cares, then I wouldn't be wearing them anyway. So yeah, I will go in and I will try and find the signs for the mortuary while looking like I know where I'm going.
Okay.
I would know from, I don't know, I could probably guess from experience where the morgue is roughly going to be in a hospital, but I'm used to bigger hospitals than this, so maybe not.
Well, I think you can. Yeah, I think you can probably find it reasonably easily. Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously that there are sections of the hospital that are still busy at this hour, A&E, that sort of thing. But fairly quickly, you can be walking through this place through the dim corridors. They've got sort of power saving lighting, so the lights come on if you're walking through there to a sort of a lower level, but it's quite subdued. It's quite quiet. It's quite eerie. Echoing footsteps on linoleum, that sort of thing. So yes, you can find your way to the at least a set of double doors by the mortuary. These doors are locked. The lights are off. It is closed.
Is there any sort of an go on? Sorry.
It's like a swipe. When I say locked, like a swipe card access thing.
Makes sense. There's no kind of like reception or admin desk nearby, is there?
There might be. Let's say there's probably like a little reception. You know how they have like sort of holes in the window holes in the walls with sliding glass things, that sort of thing. And again, that's kind of that's shut and it's dark behind.
It is the middle of the night.
9 p.m. ish.
It's like 9.
Yeah.
I knock on the mortuary door.
There is no response.
That's kind of reassuring.
Zombies!
You hear a low groan emanate from behind.
Perfect.
In that case, I will turn around and head back to the reception desk, like the front desk. And
if I can, if me and maybe DeWitt are in positions where we could see Good returning to the reception desk, the main reception desk, then we might reposition ourselves in order to be closer. If Good wants to talk to us.
I think I will just head straight for the desk. And good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here as a consultant, in the mortuary consultant. I've been pulled in from St. Bart's.
Okay. Are you expected? Sorry.
I believe so. My superior certainly seemed to think I was.
Okay. Can I take your name, please?
It's Dr. Thorogood.
Okay. Let me just check these my notes. I've just started my shift, so perhaps I've been left a note about this, and she starts sort of flicking through. It's all computerized, of course, so she'll be sort of clicking away, pecking at
old computers.
yes,
Yes.
yes, and getting possibly a little bit frustrated. Dr. Thorogood, did you say?
Correct.
There's no mention of there's no mention at all of you here, I'm afraid.
Well, I was told I need to be here. And if you don't mind, I've cut my holiday short in order to make this appointment. Do you have a member of the mortuary staff I could speak to?
Well, it's after hours, so I mean, there'll be somebody on call. We could page the on call person if that would help.
Yes, please.
Okay, so she'll sort of get the phone and yes, type peck at various numbers again, and then puts the phone down because I'm sorry, I'm thinking back to paging systems.
Are you getting
I've used.
flashbacks?
I'm getting flashbacks. Yes. So she taps a number in. So there's a sort of chart of numbers. She sort of looks up her number and then looks at the phone and taps that number into the phone and puts the phone down. And then a couple of minutes later, the phone rings and she picks it up. And you're going to make me think of a name, aren't you?
Archer.
Okay. Yes. See, again, this is where all of those sort of research comes tumbling down.
That's why I always get players to pick names, Steve.
Yeah.
You didn't think of the mortuary's assistant on call?
I know. It's ridiculous. Well, I thought there'd be somebody on call, but I didn't go for it anyway.
We need Patreons to suggest names.
Quick,
so
hurry.
Yes, there's a Dr. Archer. Would there be a doctor? John, I'm looking at you now.
Clearly, you would know. I guess it depends on the on-call responsibility, Mike.
It would be probably doctor or trainee doctor, but you might call them doctor anyway.
So Dr. Archer, there's words exchanged between the receptionist and Dr. Archer, and Dr. Archer knows nothing about a Dr. Thorogood either. So I'm sorry. Well, Dr. Archer is some distance away from the hospital at the moment. What do you need?
Here's a quick question. Did anyone actually tell me the name of the body that I need to investigate?
I think we would have done before this point, yes.
Okay.
If that's an acceptable retcon, because I can't. We were chatting about the body.
Sure, yeah.
I'm here to provide consultancy for
Arthur Mason, it would be.
Arthur Mason, middle-aged male brought in at some point in the last couple of days, I believe.
Yes, So I'm assuming you're now talking to receptionist has handed the phone to you because she's stuck in the middle. We do have, yes, we do have Arthur Mason with us. What What do you need to do?
Examine the body. I'm a forensic pathologist.
Hmm.
I've been asked to come in and give a second opinion. I have no idea why. I don't ask these questions. But I'd like to go in and look over the... If the autopsy has been carried out, I would like to look over the notes and examine the body.
Cue medical mumbo jumbo that you would totally use to make it obvious that you are a forensic pathologist.
Well, let's have a. Shall we have a roll for that?
I mean, that's pretty persuasive. That's going to be a bonus.
His flimsy were all apparently, really not cromulent. Nothing was cromulent at all.
John, what sort of role do you think? I'll leave it up to you. You have a few choices, I think, in terms of bureaucracy or surgery or whatever.
I reckon it'll kind of go for forensics.
Sure. Oh yes, that's a nice score.
Because that's my highest. That is a pass.
Good. Phew. Okay. So yes, this Dr. Archer says, well, look, there'll be a porter around with swamp card access. I can get in, but it'll be half an hour or so. Look, why don't you? I'll tell them to get a porter to open the place up, and then you can start your work, and I'll be there in half an hour.
Thank you, Dr. Archer. Did you say it's all right for me to look around before you arrive? Is there anything you would like me to not interfere with until you arrive?
Well, I trust Dr. Thorogood.
Correct.
I'm sure you know your craft.
I hate to mess with another doctor's paperwork.
Well, I guess it would be proper for you to wait before I arrive, but at least, well, we can open the place up and you can be finding your bearings.
Thank you, Dr. Archer. I'll hand the phone back to the slightly scared-looking receptionist, I guess.
Okay, so in which case, I guess we can fast forward to a porter is duly summoned, somebody with the appropriate swipe card access, opens up the place, turns the lights on, and you have gained access to the mortuary.
Excellent.
And looking at the clock, I think that's probably a good place to end this particular session.
Sounds good.
We didn't, unless there's a great cliffhanger of it, just the body being completely mauled.
Or
Which
yeah.
Not this time.
Well, the body's not there. Would be an interesting cliffhanger, wouldn't it?
No, we walk in and then the
Don't
body
suggest
sits up.
things.
There are two bodies, absolutely identical.
Yeah, exactly.
Identical
Every
twins.
single one says Mason on it. Every single one, they're all the same. What was Mags doing that whole time, Inga? We didn't really.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
She'd awkwardly followed Good down to the mortuary, found it was locked, and sort of John Travolta'd kind of around. She wants to see the body in case there's anything interesting there for her as well. But yeah, it's just doesn't really know how this stuff works in the
shuffling along behind these two the whole time.
Yeah, basically.
Got it.
Have any of you seen those things where you can get you can get the magnetic releases on those things to release of like security doors by just blowing like vapor, so like from a vape or from like any kind of particulate thing, it would just release it. So I was like, Conti probably would know that, but probably wouldn't have anything that you could do that with.
Biting your lip, yeah.
But
Wondering if
you,
it's
like you can just trip those things; they're really not super secure. And I was like, oh, that's what Conti would do. Like it's like.
We here at Telling Tales do not recommend or endorse breaking into security doors using vapes.
This is all a work of fiction. Yes, don't
do
copy
it.
this ridiculous behavior.
No. Also, blag your way into an NHS trust morgue.
They would be much more secure, I'm sure.
I don't know.
yeah.
Have you been in an NHS hospital recently?
Not recently. Anyway, yeah, that herewith ends the first session. There'd usually be a whole lot of stuff to say, but there isn't because it's pre-recorded. So tune in next time.
Thanks for
I
watching,
guess.
guys.
Fun.
Thank you.
That was really fun. Good job, Steve. That was great.
Thank you so much, Steve. That was really
Thanks,
good.
Steve.
Yeah,
Cheers.
Really enjoyable.
I'm really enjoying playing my train wreck of a human. I'm so glad I
was
genuinely
so
made a
good.
mistake, and I'm like,
This
that's
is
so perfect
Agent
for the character.
Gotti.
Oh God. Anyway, yes. See you next time.